Crash Bandicoot 2 Cortex Strikes Back is a sequel to the excellent and popular platform game that really helped to skyrocket the success of the PlayStation during its early months and years of its lifespan. So with the sequel, the story takes place about a year after the events of the first game, with Cortex cooking up another plan in order to try and dominate and take over the world. But instead of trying to fight against Crash this time, he takes a different approach where he tries to befriend him in order to utilise his skills to acquire various diamonds or emeralds, crystals, that he'll need to power up a contraption that can control or destroy the world. The gameplay is very similar to the first game, but it expands on it in a lot of ways with very distinctive visual styles with regards to the graphics, as they are more improved, they're a lot smoother, and there's just more detail in the environments, the characters, even with Crash himself, and you have more movesets at your disposal. Instead of just jumping and just spinning, now Crash can literally jump and slam on the floor to break out loads of boxes, or he can crawl on the ground, and you have loads more mini games that would have been popular in the first game. So there's a lot more even here in that sense. So there's even more types of environments that you can explore, anything from forests that would have been seen in the first game, even all the way to like snow kind of mountains and ice rinks and stuff like that you'll end up sliding yourself across. This, like all of the other games in the original trilogy, would also see a remaster or re-envisioning in recent times. So that'll tell you how popular these games are. I remember going back to my first time playing this. I played it on a demo that came with one of the PlayStation magazines at the time, and you got to play as one of the levels on the snow portion where you were racing on top of the back of a polar bear, and you had to try and stop yourself from falling off ledges and getting hit by all sorts of enemies and contraptions. Now it was tricky, but it was a lot of fun. But later in 1998, around Christmas time, one of my brothers got this as a Christmas present. Now he didn't play video games all that much, but he was a big fan of the Crash Bandicoot series. They were probably the only games that he did really play that he enjoyed. There was very, very few games that he really allowed himself to play, but he loved this one. And in fairness, we all put a lot of time into it. Very, very good, solid game. Yeah, it's tricky, just like the original game. They're all tough games, to be totally honest. Like Crash Bandicoot games, as we all know, they're not easy games to pick up and play. They're very, very difficult, but they're a lot of fun at the same time. They're tricky, but you just have to put a lot of time into it. But there'll be a lot of trial and error involved until you get the best of it. The game did receive great reviews with regards to the magazines, and it was a critical success across the board, as in with all of the games in the series on the PlayStation, as it got many nominations, even for Game of the Year upon its release as well. So this game was just a part of a great lineup of titles that were being released at the time. They're also seeing great heights of success. It's a good solid title. It's another great addition to the Crash Bandicoot series. If you're a fan of the first game, you definitely have to play this game. If you haven't played it already, you definitely need to revisit this. Regardless of whether even you're playing it on more modern versions, the PlayStation version is still just as much fun to play as ever. It has great graphics, great cartoony visuals, very challenging and yet at times frustrating gameplay, but that's all part of the package. But if you're a fan of these style of games, you definitely have to give this one a go. But I would love to know your thoughts of Crash Bandicoot 2 for the PlayStation. What did you think of it overall? Would it be your favourite game of the original trilogy on the PlayStation? Or which one is your favourite out of the three? So be sure to share it down in the comments below. And if you would like to see more content around more of these unusual and classic platformer games that also saw life on the PlayStation, then you can check out this playlist here on screen to see more of those games in action. And as always, keep those gaming memories alive.